Hello, class. Welcome back. Today we'll focus on the perfect forms in past time. So that means we'll be talking about past perfect simple or past perfect in comparison to past perfect continuous. So first we'll talk about the forms. We already know from the previous lesson, so we won't go into much detail. We'll go more into the use of these tenses. And also, in a larger sense, I would like to explain past simple versus past perfect continuous. So let's just begin. Okay, I'll abbreviate. We have past perfect simple, and we have past perfect continuous. So here, of course, we have had plus PP. PP means past participle. And over here we have had plus been plus ing, which is the present participle. Now, this is the form. That's easy. We should know this. This is we should know this very well, actually. So what we're more concerned is with the use. Okay, these are past time tenses, of course. We use them in narrative form, just like we were talking about the previous lesson. Now, the emphasis with perfect is before. So, for example, past perfect continuous, let's just write an example. I had written a book by the time I graduated. Okay, now I went a little bit into the other column, but okay. So here we have two events, right? So we have I had written, okay, and by the time I had graduated. This is one of those past adverb time clauses. By, okay. Now, by the time I graduated. So in a timeline, and we have two events. Okay, we have graduated and we have written, had written. So graduated and had written. Now, here the emphasis with past perfect simple is completion. Okay, the book was completed, okay, before the time I graduated. All right, so for example, I graduated right here sometime in the past, okay, but before that time, I started a book right here and finished, all before the time I graduated. So that's the essence of perfect in past time. It's, again, simply it is a past event happening and completing before another past event or time. So it emphasizes completion. Okay, let's move on to past perfect continuous. Now, I had been writing a book. All right, now, here the emphasis, okay, here's the tense, I had been writing, okay, but the emphasis, it does not complete, it is continuous. Continuous aspect does not emphasize completion with anything, simple or perfect. So it does not complete. Here, the emphasis is on a triennia, or a duration of time. We often use 4, 5 months, okay? This is just an example. Sorry for my lousy, illegible handwriting. I had been writing a book for 5 months, okay? Now, again, it is perfect, so that means it emphasizes some action or event happening before another action or event, but it doesn't finish. It leads right up to the second event. So, for example, we had been driving for hours when we realized we were going the wrong way. I always think of Harry and Lloyd in Dumb and Dumber. Okay, so I think we've all seen that movie, unfortunately, maybe for some. So, okay, here they realized, okay, this is the moment of realization, okay, but before that moment, they started driving and had continued up straight until that time, that moment that they realized, the moment of realization, okay? So the emphasis is before, they may have driven for 8 hours, okay? It doesn't matter. So they had they had been driving for 8 hours when they realized they were going the wrong way. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the examples to see what we're dealing with. You can see that I hadn't set the alarm, so I got to work late. Now, the first event, of course, is the event of, or the action that you didn't set the alarm. Remember, this is, what tense is this? This is, let me hear it. Yeah, it's past perfect simple, okay? So you didn't set the alarm, it's the first thing. And this had the consequence of you arriving to work late. So pretty simple stuff, okay? Now, by the time Nicola called, now you see, as I had written earlier, okay, you see we use by, okay, by the time, okay? This is a common adverb time clause we like using with perfect, okay? Past perfect and when we get into future perfect. So you'll see this by the time come up again, so get used to it, okay? So by the time Nicola called, here's one event, okay? So let's just get on the writing board here. All right, so by the time Nicola called, okay, here's one event right here, called, and then we have another event, had left. So the emphasis here is first Anna left, then Nicola called, okay? It was too late, Nicola, sorry. You're too late, okay? You should have called earlier. Städte, right? All right, so number 3, okay? Now, here we are not emphasizing completion because you can see this is not past perfect simple. This is past perfect continuous. Hadn't been working, okay? We use words like all, for, plus period of time, okay? And we use this just like we use present perfect continuous. For example, I have been working all day. I had been working all day. So it's used the same way, we're just changing time. Okay, so Sarah hadn't been working there long when she was promoted. So we're just emphasizing the time before. Here she was promoted, and we're emphasizing before this time it wasn't long. Okay, this is the period of time. They're long. Okay. The next one, they had been painting the room for nearly an hour. See, guess what, guys? Okay, for nearly an hour. That's the trine. So we're emphasizing time. We're also not emphasizing completion. They had been painting. They'd been painting is the contracted form. Okay. When suddenly they realized, this is the second event, and at the same time before they had been using. Okay, so we have two events happening before the moment of realization. Okay, on the time linear module. Okay, here they realized, and they had been painting and using at the same time the wrong paint. So both of these things were happening. We're emphasizing before when they realized they had been doing the wrong thing. Okay. So this is pretty simple. Well, it's not simple, but it just takes you getting used to understanding the concept of perfect. And again, perfect emphasizes before another event. Okay, so it doesn't matter what time we're speaking in. If we're talking in past time, past perfect means a past event happening before another past event. Okay. Now, if it's past perfect continuous, it does not emphasize completion, like we're talking here. Same for present perfect. A present perfect means some event happening sometime in the past, but we don't know when, and it has an effect on the second event, which happens to be the present, right? Which happens to be now. Okay, and when we get into future perfect, the same concept, it's just in future time. So some event happening before some time in the future and having effect on that event. So don't worry so much about it. It just takes a little practice. So you're not going to intuitively understand this. This takes time to absorb. Okay, let's do some work here. Okay, complete these sentences with the correct form in the verbs. Okay, so we have the verb look, not wait, and travel. So let's read the first one together. Okay, where was this photo taken? You look exhausted. I was. Now, I forgot to mention this. Okay, we use perfect continuous to emphasize, or not to emphasize, but to explain why something is. Okay, so if I look tired, I want to explain why. Okay, I looked tired yesterday. You looked tired yesterday. This is the event. Okay, because before I had been doing something. Okay, maybe I had been working all day. Okay, I had been working all day. So I use my famous example. It's not famous, but it's a trite example. It's anyway, it doesn't matter. So your eyes, why were your eyes red? Okay, so your eyes were red. This is past time, right? Were red. Okay, why were your eyes red? Ooh, I don't want to know. But you could say, I had been crying. Okay, now this is explanation. This serves as explanation, and that is the important thing we must know. This is a main reason we use a perfect continuous tense. Okay, all right. So now we know this and we can answer this question. Okay, I was exhausted. Okay, I had been traveling for days. Now, again, number one, we know it's past perfect continuous because we have explanation why we were exhausted, and additionally, we have for plus period of time. Okay, I'd just arrived in Nepal from the south of India by bus. Okay, I saw you yesterday coming out of that new clothes shop. We can also say clothing shop. That's right. I blank at suits. I need a new one. Okay, we could really say I had been looking. I had been looking at suits. I had been looking at suits. We're trying to emphasize before, okay? And we're trying to emphasize more of the progress, the progression of it, okay? Sorry, I was late. Sorry, I was so late last night. Oh, don't worry about it. We blank very long time, only about 10 minutes, okay? Now, here, guess what? Okay, well, there's only one more choice that we have, so we know it's not wait, okay? So, what do you think it is? We hadn't oops. Okay, because again, only about 10 minutes. We're emphasizing a trinia, a period of time. Okay, so that's about it for that. So you guys were we're a little over the 15-minute threshold. So I think this is enough for you to look at and to do on your own. I think you'll be okay. I wish you luck, and we'll see you next lesson. Bye-bye.